How are you?
Hello, everyone. Hey, Victoria, how are you? I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Hello to all of our friends on Instagram and Facebook. Today, we're having another episode of Civic Chat, and I'm super excited about today's topic.
Yes, so am I. Like, this is a super new. Oh,
This is
sorry.
definitely very important. You're fine.
Yes, I'm so ready for this topic, Michelle. I keep hearing this all the time. My vote doesn't matter. I'm trying to tell people to go, I will. And I understand, some of the confusion that, like, the Electoral College would bring. But that's why we're here tonight to tell you guys and let you know that your vote does count. So thank you for joining us. If you guys are new, my name is Victoria, and I'm the Civic Engagement Coordinator for Los Vecinos of Buford Highway.
And my name is Michelle Zuluaga. I'm the Civic Participation Manager for the Latino Community Fund, Georgia. Today, we are super excited about today's topic, just like Victoria mentioned. Today, we're actually going to be talking and explaining the Electoral College. The biggest reason why we are going to cover this topic is because so many people out there think that their vote does not matter because we do not directly vote or elect the president. So people ask themselves, why do I even take the time out to vote if they're not going to count my vote, right? And then we have a couple of examples like the last election or even in 2004 where the popular vote does not reflect the winner of the presidency. So we're going to talk about a couple of those examples and also combat the myth, the big myth of your vote not mattering. Your vote does matter. We're here to explain why it does and why it's so important that you vote. So first, we're going to start with Victoria, and I'm going to ask you this. What is the Electoral College to begin with?
Yes, so to put it in simple terms, the Electoral College is a group of legislative officials that are appointed by each state who formally elect the president and the vice president here in the United States.
All right, so it looks like Victoria internet is down, but I'll go ahead and all right, are you back, Victoria?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
No problem.
Yes, so I don't know if you heard the definition of the Electoral College.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Okay, guys. So basically, I'm sorry again. It is a group of legislative officials appointed by each state who formally elects the president and vice president of the United States. So when we go out to vote, we're voting for the Electoral College, for the electors to go out and vote for them. But yeah, that's the elected officials. And Michelle, do you know who elected are here in the United States?
Yes. So there are a total of 538 electoral votes, right? So 435 of these votes are from the House of Representatives. 100 of these votes are for senators, and then 3 for the District of Columbia. So if we're going to apply this information specifically to the state of Georgia, the state of Georgia has 2 senators, so that's 2 votes right there, and 14 representatives, meaning that in total we have 16 electors. So these are 16 electoral college votes that we have due to proportional representation. So how do we end up with this to begin with, or this amount to begin with, is through the 2020 census, but through the census, right? That's how representation is proportionate and how these things are impacted. So Right now, as of today, we do have 16 electors, but once we get all the data of the recent 2020 census, we could get more or less electoral votes, which is, very exciting. Hopefully we'll get more electoral votes. But Victoria, I want to ask, when did they create the Electoral College?
So by the 12th Amendment, that was ratified in 1804, which changed the original process, which was just allowing for each separate ballot to determine the president and the vice president. So now the District of Columbia has had electors, 3 electors since the 23rd Amendment, which was ratified in 1961. So that's where it all began. I know it sounds a little complicated, but I think it's been a long time. What is it like? It's been a long time.
So basically, from what I'm understanding is the Electoral College, as we know of it today and how it is today, it has existed since 1804, which is super interesting.
Yes, it's been
For sure.
super long. And do you know why it even exists? I know that's a question that everyone always asks. Like, what's the point of the Electoral College anyway?
Exactly. So the Electoral College is a way for candidates not to forget about smaller states. So in a close election, every single Electoral College vote counts. And if the president were to be picked only by population, candidates would only focus on bigger states, mostly populated. So they would focus on states like California, Texas, even Florida. And ignore the smaller states. Remember, so going back to the question that I answered earlier, we have 2 senators, right? Other states also have 2 senators. We have 14 representatives, and then other states have also their proportion representatives. So it kind of evens out that playing field a bit more of states that are not as heavily populated versus states that are heavily populated. I would say that Georgia is in the kind of that middle term, right? Where we don't have 55 electoral votes like California, but we have 16 compared to other states that have 1 or 2 electoral votes because the population just is not as high. But fact is, they still have that kind of just levels out that playing field quite a bit. So my next question for you, Victoria, is what does it mean when a state is a winner-take-all state? This is something that directly impacts and explains why our vote does count in the presidential elections.
Yes. So since the election of 1824, most states have appointed their electors for the winner take all. So this was based on the statewide popular vote on the election day. So now a candidate must receive an absolute majority of the electoral votes, which is currently 270, in order to win the presidency or the vice presidency. So the 70 is the magic number, guys. So when you're adding up the states when you're watching the election, now you know what to look for.
Exactly. It's 270, and the winner takes all is the way for us to explain to all you guys that your vote does have an impact on the Electoral College, its results, how the results of the presidency end up being, because there is this myth out there of people thinking that your vote does not count, because at the end of the day, the Electoral College is going to pick whoever they want, right? And then I think that, the last elections, because the popular vote did not win, did not reflect in the results, a lot of people are a bit confused. Something to point out, y'all, that has only happened 5 times in the last 58 presidential elections. So that says something, that does say something, so that's definitely something to kind of keep in mind for sure.
Yeah, also, basically, if one of the electors doesn't really choose what the state wants, they're less likely to get elected again. So they always try to go with what the state what the popular vote has elected, because they want to get elected again. So like Michelle said, it doesn't really happen that often. So I think that should give you guys some security and as to why you should go out and vote. So
All right.
so Michelle, we were talking about the electoral college picks whoever they want, but who picks the electoral college?
So actually, each state gets a number of electors based on their population size. So that would be the 2020 census. So every time the census happens, states lose or gain electoral votes based on the amount of responses. So what this means is we have electoral votes or electors based on the same number that we have in representation in Congress. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 2 senators and we have 14 representatives, right?
Yeah.
And therefore we have 16 electoral votes. So there's a connection there. And those are the electoral votes, is how many seats we have both in the Senate and in the House of Representatives in Congress. So voting matters. Answering the census matters and has a huge impact. And here we're seeing how it really all ties in. For sure. So, I understand that it can be a bit overwhelming for a lot of our viewers, including us. I mean, we had to do quite a bit of research to do this episode. It's important to talk about this and really take the time to understand. Once you do some research and get some reliable information, it actually all makes a little, quite a bit of sense. So, Victoria, I wanted to ask, when does the Electoral College elect the president and the vice president?
So all the electors meet up in the middle of December after the people have already voted in November. So, they want to get all the results in and see what the popular vote is in order for the electors to meet up in the middle of December.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Yes. And Michelle, how many electoral votes are needed to win the election? So once they meet up in December, what do we know? Like who's going to win?
Exactly. So because of the winner takes all rule or agreement, basically what happens is that, the magic number is 270. Right? This is the majority of 538 electoral votes. So, that's the magic number. Those are the numbers when, in on election night, that is the number that you should be looking for is 270. And Victoria, how does the popular vote affect the Electoral College, which is the big question here?
Yes. So, when we go out and vote, we are actually voting for the electors who have pledged that when they meet up, they will vote for the popular candidate. So, like I said before, even though we might not win the electoral college versus the popular vote, they still want to go out and choose whatever the state has chosen because they want to get elected again. And they have pledged to do this, guys. They have pledged that they will go out and vote for whatever the state has chosen. So it's really important that we go out and vote because even though you're not voting directly for the vice president and president, you technically are because that's what you're pledged to vote for. So it's super important that we still go out and vote because I know you guys think that it doesn't matter since it's because of the electoral college, but this is why it matters. It does matter.
It does matter, and your vote does have a direct impact on the Electoral College and the results of that. So keep that in mind. I know that a lot of people get a bit confused about that.
Yes. And Michelle, so what is the popular vote since we're talking about it?
For sure. So the popular vote is the total number or percentage of votes cast for a candidate by voters in the 50 states and Washington, D.C. The candidate who gets the most vote nationwide is said to have won the popular vote. So that is the popular vote, right? If look at that definition and see during the last election, yes, one candidate did get the popular vote, and then there is the Electoral College. So that's super, super important to notice the difference, know these definitions for sure.
Yes, and we have someone here on Instagram. Nicaroni says, and the Supreme Court said that the faithless electors must follow the will of the electors this year. Yes, that is true. They are called the faithless electors. So now you see, now they have a little rep for not going what they actually represent. So just keep that in mind, guys. In regards to the polls, don't be scared just because of the last election.
Yes, exactly. Don't be scared. Don't be bummed out or anything like that. Like I mentioned, it's actually very rare for things that happen like in the last election. It's like I said, it's only happened 4 times in the history of U.S. elections. So we do want to urge everybody, remember guys, please vote early. The last day to vote early is October 30th. You now have only a couple of days left. Please plan to go vote. If you want to go ahead and vote in person, please use your mask, maintain socially distant. And if you already have your absentee ballot, go ahead and drop it in your nearest drop box. You have to drop your your absentee ballot in the drop box of your counties or whichever is in your county. Don't go to another county and leave your ballot over there. Leave it in your county. That's very important. Do you have any other information, Victoria?
Yes, so I actually wanted to go ahead and let you guys know, if you need a ride to the polls, you guys can request a ride going to www.naca.com, or you can call 888-495-6222. So the vans are equipped with hand sanitizers, disinfectant, so you guys will be safe. Wear your mask as always. And this is just, I wanted to give you guys this phone number so you guys can, we have no excuses. If you need a ride to the polls, this is a free ride, a safe free ride. So just keep that in mind if you guys were having trouble getting to your polls. And just remember that election day is November 3rd. And so plan ahead. If you guys can't go vote early, just go early that day because the lines will get long.
Exactly. So, tomorrow is Wednesday the 28th. Make sure to go ahead and vote if you have the time. You can vote Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or next Tuesday. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of Civic Chat. We really hope that giving y'all information about the Electoral College really cleared the air and really motivates you to go and vote and understand that your vote does matter. Your vote does have an impact. And that you go out and vote early and vote during the elections. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. You guys have a great night. Bye. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.